I do want to like end this like talk because we're getting near the end with like mentioning like the non-big three tokus that I've watched
Yes.
over the years because both Toei and other production companies like Subaraya and like other people have done tokus that aren't Sentai, Kamen Rider, and Ultraman. Now, granted, they can fall under those patterns, but I do want to mention a couple like more niche things that like have translations that I have watched that like you should check these out. First off, some Toshiki Inoue shows. You might know him from Jetman and the various early Heisei Kamen Riders and Dawn Brothers. He has done a
Right.
lot of toku work outside of those. He has done specifically Changirion, which is very fun. It has the actor for Kamen Rider Oja as the main protagonist, as this like flirty like
Yeah.
playboy. And Changirion's a really fun time. It has a very fun final episode, but like I don't want to spoil it. But it's like Changirion, really like lots of good comedic comedy and like it's a very comedic show, but it's still like very like interesting and like how it plays with those tropes, and like how it kind of like prototypes a lot of like what Kamen Rider Fives would be, with like some of the drama.
Fascinating.
And then there's the prototype for Dawn Brothers, Shogeki Goragon. This is a very adult show. There's like nudity and like just adult themes, but
Right.
but it's a very absurd show. It's kind of like if Garo, like, cause we didn't even mention Garo. If Garo's what like a more
Yeah.
adult Kamen Rider, this is a more adult Sentai with like a lot more goofy humor. Uh, it's only 13
Right. And
episodes.
it's only
I think
13 episodes.
yeah, it's on YouTube. I really recommend it. Also, my video is one of my better videos. But it's like that's it's a very unique show. It like I'd suggest giving it a try if you're in the age range. And also, I gotta mention Dog Engers. Okay, here's the thing with Dog Engers. It's about local heroes. Local heroes is another side of tokusatsu that hasn't really been like brought over to the West because of like reasons and translations.
Right.
And it's like these are just like real life mascots of like companies or like solo businesses that like basically the Dog Engers is like them come together as like Avengers or like just kind of like fun little antics of like, but it's really passionate, really fun. Up to season 4 has been translated, although there are six seasons because each season does a theme. 1 and 2 are pretty basic. 3 is high school. 4 is Metropolis, which is like police procedural. 5 is making fun of anniversary stuff and like the Shin, because it's called Shin Dog Engers because of like the Shin like comment. And then 6
That is funny.
6 is an isekai homage. So like each season tackles a different theme. Unfortunately, only up to Metropolis has been subbed, so like take away for a grain of salt of like that recommendation of like they are complete stories. Each season's its own complete story, but if you want more, you're gonna have to like wait until somebody gets back to translating Shin and the isekai one. And then Voice Lugger, this was one of the last things Shotari Shinomori worked on, although it's not his, it's mainly the designs and like some concept stuff. And like other people took this concept and ran wild with it. If you love like deconstructions or like this, or like what make depressing more like things that start off a bit more typical but like ended up in like a more wild scenario, Voice Luggers for you. It's basically a voice acting Sentai, which is really with like actual Japanese VAs like doing the parts. It's great.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah, it's only 12 episodes too. And then the final one I'm going to recommend, Taro Man. This is the most recent one I've watched, and there's a movie coming for this, but it is like a 5-minute 10 episodes you can find on the sites. And Taro Man's really interesting. I don't want to say too much about it, but it's very absurd. It's based on the actual artist Taro Okamoto, and like what if we took his designs and make actual tokusatsu about it. Very fascinating stuff. I really recommend Taro Man.
Nice. Now, granted, I don't have like nearly as great of a backlog, but there are a couple of names that have struck out with me for like more obscure tokusatsu. So I'll just name drop some of those. I remember there was an article. It was so the show's called High Speed Parahero Grand.
Oh, I've watched that. That's pretty good.
Gandine. Oh, nice. So it was the main character who is physically disabled, right?
Yeah, it's not played, but like they consulted with a lot of the actor played Kamen Rider Gio, but like the actor's not disabled. He just plays a disabled character, but they did still consult with that. And that's a whole other conversation of like, oh, should actors
Yeah.
like, but that's it's still a pretty solid like heartwarming show. Only 3 episodes if you want to check it out.
Mm-hmm. And let's see, what? Okay, so I barely know anything about this other than the fact that I saw the opening, but it was K-Tai Investigator 7.
Oh, Keita
I think,
Sosaken 7. Okay. This has been on my list. This has been a running gag between me and my friend of like I have to
really?
I have to watch this eventually. Yeah, if you want like a toku, from what I understand, if you want a toku that's like completely detective and like there's barely any action, check out this show.
Nice. And the final one that I have on my list, I only found it because of a little bit of a rabbit hole. Because I think there was a game based on it that did get localized, but they stripped like it was originally supposed to be based on this
Metal
show, but
Hero.
then they just
Yeah.
like, oh no, it's actually not Metal Heroes. Actually, it's called Giant Robot Mikazuki. If
Oh.
you've heard of this, I'm gonna flip.
I've heard of Giant Robo, but I've never heard of Mikazuki.
Okay, well, it looks like more gritty as opposed to like most like kid focused Toku. But episodes go on for almost an hour. First one's like an hour 15 minutes actually. There's only 6 episodes, but it's all on YouTube. I got a clip going on right now. Yeah, I'm doing a very bad job describing it, granted, because I'm going in blind. But if that sounds interesting, hey, go nuts, and I'll probably fill in more information
Yeah.
about it in this episode's description. But yeah, I think we've basically covered everything that I would have wanted.
Yeah.
I'm hoping for the best. I think the recent news about Sentai is the biggest kick in the ass I need to catch up on Gojuger.
Yeah.
Honestly. But you know, I hope for the best. And this is a point that I talked about in my article. But I truly do feel like for a lot of people, the fact that Power Rangers has such a looming presence over tokusatsu as a whole, despite the brand itself feeling less and less relevant, is actively impacting people's ability to get into it.
Oh,
But at the
100%.
same time, I've seen, maybe it's my recommendations, but I've seen more people post out of context clips on my Instagram reels, like from Build, from Geo, from Dekai Ranger versus Magi Ranger, you know, even more obscure stuff like Inazunaman or just some older Showa Kamen Rider. Even if it's just, wow, this looks funny, or this is way more violent than I thought. People are interested. And I think that's the big thing here.
Yeah.
You know, and especially because of the fact that you don't have to trade VHS tapes or, you know, go on Kiss Anime or anything like that. The fact that there's a big chunk of Toku, Toei or Subaraya, that you can just watch on YouTube is big. You can go to Walmart and pick up an Ultraman Blu-ray. You can order a Sentai DVD from Shout Factory. I think that's big, and if you're at all interested, especially if you're already a big weeb, because come on, I would highly recommend watching some of these shows. Again, you're probably already watching a Japanese show made for kids anyway, so there's no harm in making it being filmed with real people instead of just drawings. No shade to drawings either, but you know, like, let's be real. They have much more in common than you think, and I feel that even a surface level understanding of stuff like Kamen Rider, Sentai, and Ultraman will make watching anime that might have very specific regional or pop culture jokes, you'll understand a lot more. So by all means, go ahead.
Yeah.
So, do you have any closing thoughts about anything, Buster, before we sign off?
Not much. Just like, hey, just if a suit design or story element of a toku looks cool, watch it. Just go ahead. Just take the plunge.
Yeah. It's all about picking what looks cool to you. A lot of shows don't necessarily have overarching or connecting plot lines between seasons. And even in some of the cases that I am thinking of, like Zenkaiger Dawn Brothers or
It's
Kuga
very
Agito,
loose. It's very loose.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I don't know if, like, the quote-unquote fandom directive is still to advise against anniversary seasons, because I've seen people start with those, and
I think it's like just
they get interested.
Yeah, like Decade and Geo, like you could start with those, but I would recommend doing something else. But it's like if you want to watch Decade and Geo and go like, okay, I want a sampling of all the other shows, go ahead.
Yeah. And I will still say, and I guess sorry for inadvertently spoiling, I did not expect whatsoever for Decade not only to cameo in Geo, but to be like a secondary character in his own right.
Yeah. It's
so that was cool.
It's basically, because Decade was only 30 episodes, it's basically the last 20 episodes of Decade that a Kamen Rider would normally get, so that's pretty fun.
Yeah. And yeah, thankfully, a lot of these shows are legally available through places like Shout Factory, Mill Creek, or Discotheque. And sadly for everything else, you're gonna have to check the cat site.
Yeah, Sail the Seven Seas.
You know.
Sail the Seven Seas.
Yeah. It's what the Gokaiges would want.
Yeah.